Huskers dominated from start to finish, jumped out to a 28-0 lead. Last week, Coach Prime told the home crowd team was one step closer to reaching a bowl game. And he said in January his team was definitely going to be a contender in the college football playoff. Saturday night, the second team, Colorado, the second game, it did not look good. Neither offense or defensive line played well. The running game still is non-existent, 22 carries, 16 yards. The Buffs in the second half, they did get on the scoreboard. They scored 10 points. They lose 28-10. Ocho, I don't know how much of this game you saw.
I saw it. I would listen.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I felt watching the offseason, watching the recruiting process, seeing some of the players that left and some of the players that were coming, my thoughts had completely changed on me thinking the Colorado Buffs were going to look a little different. Now, the important part for them in being able to compete with the schools that are better would be the interior, the offensive line and the defensive line. And after watching today's game, and from the beginning, from the start of the game, when the Colorado Buffaloes were on offense, and number 0, whoever number 0 was, remember the movie The Program? Remember the movie The Program and Lattimore? And to watch him dominate the offensive line like that, it kind of reminded me of, okay, now we're right back at square one like we were last year. That's what it reminded me of. So the things that I thought were fixed and the issues in order for Colorado to be able to compete at the highest level and contend, I think we're right back at square one based off what I saw tonight, offensively and defensively. There's no reason Nebraska, well, there is a reason Nebraska was able to run down the throat of the Colorado defense, right down their throat. Why? Because the interior, the defensive line, is stout enough to be able to compete with the better teams.
And I'm gonna be completely honest. I watched a lot of their preseason stuff. I watched Well Off. I watched a lot of this. And one thing I always tell people that I surround myself with or I talk sports with is Colorado has a physical appearance issue. They have a size problem. They don't look like, when you look at college football teams, they don't have that real solid, like husky swole, like yeah, they don't got that. So they just don't look like they have that physicality. So when I look at these other programs, I mean, I'm talking about the Alabamas, I'm talking about the LSUs, even USC. I'm looking at Oregon, schools like that, the way that they're practicing compared to Colorado. I'm not going to say Colorado doesn't practice hard, but they don't really be hitting like that. Dude, these other schools, they doing hitting drills. You know, I'm talking about they're in the weight room going crazy, trying to put on real size. You know, we don't really have no big boys like that. No, you look at the team, nobody separates when it comes to like a linebacker. Nobody really got that size to them. They just don't got that physical aspect to the team. They got athletes though. They got that. They got skill players. You know, don't get that more, but even the skill players don't look, well, some of them do. They don't have that just, you know what I mean? That rawness to them. I think this is still a hell of a football team. Don't get me wrong, but something's wrong. They're lacking physicality. You can't just get beat up like that on the offensive line. They was getting, Shedeur, I feel bad for Shedeur. I thought they really changed some stuff, man. It's not a good look.
So there's still issues that need to be fixed, and it's right there, the meat and potatoes, the inside, the interior.
I agree. I had concerns last week, and I told you I had concerns that I saw some of the same things that I saw last year that caused me to be concerned. And everybody, it's one game. You see how you speak bad about the black coaches? No, you see how I speak true. Now I see why politicians get elected, because people like being lied to. When I tell you the truth that Colorado can't run the football, just like they couldn't run it last year. They couldn't stop the run, just like they couldn't stop it last year. They couldn't protect Shedeur, just like they couldn't last year. He's holding on to the ball too long, just like he did last year. How did you not look at that first game and see a lot of what happened last year? How could you see it had not reared its head? And I'm not saying that North Dakota State, that's a football team, and we're going to talk about Notre Dame, how they lost to Northern Illinois, and we see Alabama was in a nip-tuck ball game late in the fourth quarter and then blow it open. So I'm not saying that. But when you look at an FCS team and they're having success running the football, they're having success putting pressure on your quarterback, what happens when you step up in level of competition? When you go and you face teams in the Big 12, what do you think they're going to do? Because they got legit D and O line. And that's a concern. That's a concern of mine coming into the season. And I'm still concerned.
I have a question. Now, from an offensive standpoint, I think I'm not a coach by no means, but I'm just saying, based off what I've seen, and you said Shedeur holding the ball a little too long. If you have an offensive line, if you have a defensive line that is continuously sacking your quarterback and applying pressure the way they are, I'm just saying, from what I saw, I think they should have went to the quick game a little bit more. Stop spreading it out so wide, condense the formations, putting players in motion, having crossing routes so Shedeur can get the ball out of his hands and find somewhat of rhythm in that way to get the passing game going, instead of having him in shotgun or having him drop back or anything over 5 or 7 step drop. Just hurry up and get the ball out fast and probably get a drive and try to get a drive going just to get the quarterback in rhythm with the receivers. But I mean, listen, I didn't know. I know Nebraska is good. I think they looked a little better. They looked a little better because Colorado wasn't able to make the adjustments necessary to compete with them. Even if they players a little better interior, in the interior.
Bro, Colorado shouldn't have got beat like that. He's right. They should have started picking real quick. Pick. But instead, he's right. Shannon's right too. Shedeur, you got to get the ball out. We can't just blame the O-line for everything. But at the same time, Shedeur out there running for his life. The O-line is a problem. If we ain't got a solid O-line, we ain't going to be really a lot of teams, especially if the team start seeing this on film. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're going to start picking us apart. They're going to start picking us apart. And then we get 16 yards on the ground on 22 carries. Oh, my gosh. That means our offensive line getting blown back. Pause. This is a tough one to watch.
I could be wrong.
But look, Nebraska is better. Last year was Matt Rule's first year. So normally the second year, you get the players that you really want, because a lot of time you gotta keep some holdovers. Even though it's a transfer portal, guys are gonna leave and some guys are gonna come. But you need to get your guys in there, the kind of guys that you want. The offense, the defense, the type of player that you want. So it normally takes you a year or two to get your type players in there. But the Colorado went for it on fourth downs and they lost yards. As a former NFL player, I know a thing or two about high performance, and that's why I drive the BMW 7 Series. This car has everything I need. It's big enough, comfortable.
We doing BMW commercials now, Shannon Sharp? That's how you doing it, Shannon? You doing BMW commercials mid-broadcast? Oh, Shannon's getting too much money on. Shannon getting too much money on.
You 22 carries, 16 yards. And my thing is, look, the offensive line isn't very good. And they told us the offensive line was going to be better. They told us the defensive line is going to be better. They still can't consistently rush the quarterback, Ocho, without sacrificing their back end and bringing extra people. They can't stop the run consistently. They get gashed. Hence, they had 35 carries, $149, and 2 touchdowns. The other team, Colorado, had 22 carries, 16 yards. When you can't run the football, you can't stop the run. You can't pressure the quarterback. You can't protect your quarterback. Tell me how you
can't. You can't. You can't. Out of everything you just named, you have to be good at least 3 of them. At least 3 of them. You got to be good.
So what is Colorado good at right now, Ocho? Let's be honest. We can have an honest conversation, because nobody wants time to do well
Right.
better than I do.
Yeah,
Because I
most
know him on a
definitely, most
personal
definitely.
level, and I know how much he's invested of his time. I know how much this
Yes, sir.
means to him. So nobody wants him to do better
Right.
than I do. But when you look at this, when you look at Colorado, and I need
Yes,
you
sir.
to be objective, because I know a lot of us in the chat, we want time to do well. We want Coach Prime to do well. Y'all call him Coach Prime, I call him Time.
Yes,
But
sir.
we want him to do well. Tell me one thing they're good at.
Right now, as of week 2, based on what we saw, I mean, not much. Honestly, I mean, they have the tools. They have the tools. They have the talent at the skill position. But where it matters most, and you know that, you know what it matters most in college, the interior, your offensive line, your
Yeah, you got
defensive
to be able to
line. If
protect.
you can't stop the run, it starts up front. If you can't protect your quarterback, it starts up front. The skill position is where the
Yeah.
money is. And now we have that.
Right.
We have that, and I'm talking about they're being exposed. They're being exposed because they lack
Yeah.
depth and they lack. I keep using the same context and using meat and potatoes because that's the only thing I could think of. That's what it takes. You take some hogs. You need some hogs up front on both sides of the ball. And that's where that's where they're lacking.
You do.
And like I said, I watch a lot of this stuff, man. They don't have anybody on the defensive line, even their linebackers, that you could just look and they have an eye test for the NFL. Not one. Now, I'm not saying these boys can't play. They're good, very talented. But I'm talking about there is not one person on the defensive line that just looks, oh, he's that motherfucker. That's that one. I'm talking about looking yacked out, athlete, fast, strong as shit. You know what I mean? I mean, just looking like an NFL pro. Not even on the offensive line. Seaton, but he's a freshman. He probably will in a couple years. I don't know. And that's the one thing I always see, because I see these guys without pads on a lot. Because I watch Colorado a lot, man. They just don't really have them poised. And you can't run the ball. Oh, the defense is gonna have a field day with you. We could drop back and oh yeah. Good luck. And it's we don't even want to talk like this, but you have to keep it honest. As you can hear, Chad, they're not really good at anything right now. I'm not gonna say they got weapons though. Offensively, they got weapons to me. Defensively, the backs and everything, they got weapons. But you can't beat a team if they're running the ball up you, running up the throat, and you can't stop. You can't get a tackle. They're going for it on 4th downs. That means that they don't trust your defense. It's a tough one to even talk about because I got so much faith in Colorado. I hope it's not one of those seasons because I really thought they made some big adjustments. And this is going to be the talk of the talk. Damn.
You got to be able to look. You got to be able to protect your quarterback, and you got to be able to pressure the quarterback. And sometimes it's okay to throw the ball away. It's okay to throw the ball away and make it 2nd and 10. It's okay to throw the ball away and make it 3rd and 7. I know it's going to look bad on your stats, but look, at this point in time, there's nothing. Completion percentage is not, they're not going to elevate Shedeur Sanders up or down because they're evaluating him, said that's a smart play.
Right.
He didn't take a sack. He didn't take an unnecessary hit by throwing the ball away late.
Yeah.
Just throw the ball away.
I think
throw it away. It's okay. If I'm looking at Shedeur, I'm looking at how well he processes information. I'm looking at how well he goes from 1 to 2 to 3, if possible. Check down, throw the ball away. That's what I'm looking at. Oh, he got a 75% completion percentage versus a 65. Okay, where's the 10% drop off? Oh, that was a good throwaway right there, Ocho. Avoided the sack, avoided the loss, kept him in field goal range. I'm processing the entirety of the game. I'm not looking at no completion percentage because I'm not going to elevate him or downgrade him based on that. I will elevate or downgrade him based on the decisions that he make and what I can say he should have known better than to take that sack. He
Right.
should have thrown that ball away. He knew
Yeah,
better
some
than Ocho.
yeah.
It's a zone coverage.
Yeah.
With that pick six, first of all, the
Mhm.
corner doesn't sink because
Right.
there's nobody going deep. He
Just
saw the
sit
guy
there,
just
yeah.
run the stop route. He see the inside
Mhm.
guy run a stop route.
Yes,
So
there was
why
no
would he
need.
backpedal? Now you in the middle of the field and you
Yeah,
gonna throw
yeah.
way
You
outside.
can't listen for one, unless the corner is way off at 7 yards and you staring him down at the snap of the ball and he's backpedaling. That's the only time you throw to the wide side of the field. You don't throw. That's Cardinal rule number 1 as a quarterback. You don't throw to the wide side of the field. You should know
Too
that.
much time.
Ocho.
That was a bad pass by Shador in the end zone. That was a rough one to watch because that was across the field. That was an easy recovery for the corner for a pick six. Easy. And I'm surprised he threw that ball. That's something I don't really see Shador doing.
But here's the thing. Why would the corner backpedal when
Yeah.
the guy that he's
Yeah,
over
it's no
runs
threat.
a stop route
Yeah.
and the guy on the inside
Yeah, it's
he
no
runs
threat.
a hook route? So why am I backpedaling?
Right.
Ain't nobody there to
There's no
threaten
threat.
me. I'm just gonna sit. Now, and I'm saying to myself,
Yeah.
if he throw this
Oh,
ball,
I'm going to get
I got
that.
a reservation for 6.
I'm going to get that. And matter of fact,
Yes.
you got to think about it too. You got to think about down and distance. What's the chances of actually calling a go route off the goal line? You go straight to quick game anyway. So as a DB,
Yes.
your defensive coordinator probably ordering your ear telling you, listen, something coming out quick, slant. Yeah,
The quick
it
game,
got
yeah.
to. It got to.
And first of all, I know you're not gonna run anything deep because your
Bingo.
O-line can't hold up. And you guys don't like the max protect. I'm looking at the formation. You can't max protect from that formation.
That's a crazy breakdown right there, man. We're going to end it right there. You know, Shador and Colorado and the offensive line, they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out 100%. You know, Coach Prime, I know you work your butt off over there. I know you did your best with what you could do with getting the most of the transfers and things like that. But this team doesn't. They're not ready. They don't have that physicality. That's the main thing I think that's going to hurt this team is physicality. The offensive line, I mean, it wasn't just a 1 or 2. It's all damn game. We're talking about, come on, man. This ain't even the, as Ocho said, the meat and potatoes of the schedule. We got some big dogs on the way. We got to really tighten up. They need to have a serious film session and break this shit down, you know, and I hope this is not ruining the team chemistry or locker room energy because they got their ass whooped today. So they just got to get back to the books and get back to learning and turn it around. So I really don't know what to say, man. I'm in disbelief on the game. And it was a little frustrating to watch. Just simple mistakes. And I just didn't see any. When we can't run the ball, that was really defeating me today. I'm like, oh my gosh, we getting our shit blown up. How are we gonna be a threat? We can't even run the ball. We can't even get a first down on the ground. Yeah, man. So that's really all I got for today's segment, man. It's your boy C. O'Connor with Game Day Network. I appreciate you guys. And, man, I'm excited for the rest of the season, but they're going to have to turn it around. Because I'm looking at some of these other teams. The number one thing I see is the eye test, man. They don't have it. Not all of them, but the big dogs up front in the O-line and D-line. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.